Dear God, where are they coming from? Where? I was really traumatized of what I just saw. You already know who I am about what happened in the last one I told you. But let me tell you about this. I was just having an Oreo ice cream, beating myself, in my room. But just then, I got an email notification from Craig Mario Fan on my phone that buzzed. I looked at it and this is what it said. Hey there, fan of mine. I would like to give you a something that someone made that really dramatized me and all of my viewers. And my friends. After when you're done watching the video, please record it and send it to YouTube and tell a description that some man had to do this. Thank you. From Craig Mario Fan. I was getting confused. Like, how come that Craig noticed me? Anyways, I found a link to it so I could watch it. And then I saw the link to it. It was called unusedsegment.mov. I was getting really confused about what was going on. But just then, there was actually a picture or something. I looked at it and it was actually a little DVD. The cover consisted of Craig at the front with Tinky Winky, Willy, and Cartoon Cat far away from him. It was called LP Shooter and Other Stories. There was no back one for the scene, but anyways, I clicked on it. I watched the 4 segments of it, which were Jolly's Missing Head, Willy's Enemy, LP Shooter, and Hiccups. They were really good, but the last one? Oh God, what have I experienced? Before it started, it showed a warning. This segment you're about to see was scrapped and not meant to be viewed by younger audiences. If you're sensitive by these, please do not watch it at your own risk. Oh no, I said, sighing. It then faded to black. It was black for 3 seconds until it showed a title card. And boy, it was messed up. This unnamed segment was called Percy Had Enough. The thumbnail consisted of Percy, but he looked really angry. His eyes were black, and he had red pupils, and he had blood all over him. And also, he was staring at Craig, Willy, Cammy, Freddy, Fufa, and Muno, who were looking scared, as Percy was staring at them, really angry. I was getting confused, but the music when it showed the title was from Bowser's Castle from Super Mario Bros. Wii. The title card faded to black. It began with the shot of the Mushroom Kingdom. Just then, it then showed the sheds, but Percy was the only one there. But boy, he was really angry. But just then, Percy then looked at the camera.
What the hell are you watching me for?
He said. I was really confused. Why was Percy mad? But just then, he then continued as he sighed.
I don't know what Craig and the others did to me. Did you know why I was getting bullied for no reason?
It then showed a shot of Percy being bullied by a lot of people. Just then, Percy then said this.
You know what? I'm gonna end this right now.
He shouted as he ran out of the sheds. I was getting confused. Why was Percy acting like this? He's supposed to be like a friendly Thompson Friends character, like Thomas, Gordon, and the others. But now, he became like this in this segment. But whatever, I just ignored it. Just then, it then showed the leader, Craig himself, walking over to the Mushroom Kingdom. But just then, Percy then came behind him. Just then, Craig realized the noise that Percy made because he was a tank engine, and when Craig turned around, he looked really creepy. His eyes were black, and he had red pupil eyes. Craig got confused by this. Hey, Percy, what's the matter? You seem a bit mad, Craig says as he chuckles nervously. But just then, Percy started to speak, but his voice was actually demonic. I was shocked that Percy actually sweared, because no one in the Craig Mario Fit segment series actually swears in it, because it's only kid-friendly. Craig was shocked when he heard Percy cussing. Percy, watch your mouth! And second, I didn't mean for me, my wife, my two bros, and everyone else in the Mushroom Kingdom bullying you. What are you gonna do about it? Craig said scaredly. He shouted. Wait, what? He exclaimed. Just then, Craig began running for his life, as Percy began to chase him. Just then, it then showed a shot of Muno and Fufa. So, honey, what do you want to do today? Muno asked. I don't know, she said. Just then, they then saw Craig running. Before Muno was about to ask, Percy shoved behind Muno and grabbed him by his head and with his robotic arms. Just then, Percy tried to rip Muno's head off. Muno let out a realistic, blood-curdling scream as he was trying to get pulled apart. Fufa and Craig watched in horror, while Fufa watching her husband getting killed and Craig watching one of his friends die. Just then, Percy then finally ripped Muno's head off. Craig gasped as he ran off. Muno! She cried. Percy said as he grinned evilly. Just before Percy was about to kill Fufa, and then showed a shot of Craig running into the Mushroom Kingdom. Guys! Emergency! Craig shouted. What's going on, Craig? A voice heard off screen. Just then, the voice then came from Freddy, one of the characters from FNAF. Freddy, it's terrible. I just saw Percy kill Muno, he said, panting. And I have a feeling that Percy might kill Fufa. Oh my god! That's awful! Freddy said in horror. Don't worry, we need to tell everyone about this. Just then, Craig and Freddy went up to everyone and told what happened, and everyone was shocked. What? Oswald said. Just then, Percy then came, but he was holding Fufa and Muno's head. Broby gasped in horror. What have you done to him? He shouted. He didn't respond. It's just then, Percy killed the others, like Broby, Plex, Oswald, Mickey, and everyone else. Just then, the only survivors who were left were Craig, Bonnie, and Freddy. Just then, as they were running, Percy blocked their way. And I realized this might be a reference to the Banana Splits movie. Just then, Percy raised his arm and said... Just then, Thomas then came and pushed Percy to the ground. But instead of using Yerberduck voice, he was actually voiced by Craig. Leave him alone, Percy! He shouted. Percy told Thomas to get out of the way. Just then, Thomas said, Percy, snap out of it. This isn't like you, he said. Just then, Thomas and Percy started to fight. Like a reference to the Banana Splits movie. After when Thomas was choking Percy, Percy grabbed Thomas by his fundle and rips his head off. Thomas then died. And when Thomas screamed when he was about to die, it was really deep. Percy laughed demonically as he said this. Just then, Freddy and Bonnie launched onto Percy and tried to kill him, but just then, Percy grabbed onto the both of them and splitted them in half. Craig then began to run for his life. But just then, Percy then tripped Craig by his robotic arm. Wait, Percy, please don't do this to me! I'm your friend! No! Right before we were about to see Craig get murdered, it then cut to black with Craig screaming. Not long after, it showed a shot of the Mushroom Kingdom. However, it was on fire. Just then, a sudden deep note raised, and it convicted of every Craig Mario Fan Segment Series character's screams, like Craig, Freddy, Muno, Tootie, Modern Day Chuck E. Cheese, and everyone else. After when the deep note was over, Percy then dropped on screen. And boy, he was all bloodied up. Just then, he then said this. He introduced. Just then, Percy then let out a warning. Just then, Percy then flew out of the sky as he laughs evilly. Just then, it then cut it to black with nothing. I was about to close it until one more thing came up. It showed a picture of Ozzy screaming when the janitor broke his mop. However, he was edited. His eyes were gone, his pupils are red, and he was crying out blood. And in the background was a Howie scream. That scream scared the living daylights out of me. That got out of my chair. Just then, the video came to an end. I was so scared of what I just saw. I cannot believe that Percy, one of my favorite characters, had to kill Craig and the rest of his friends. I uploaded it to YouTube, and I showed the footage to my mom, and she was shocked. I deleted the file, and I had nightmares thinking about Percy trying to kill me. Just then, I got over it, and I watched some videos by Craig that are not creepy, and to get off of it. And here's the lesson for today. If you guys see a creepy video, I highly recommend you do not watch it at your own risk, or else you might get nightmares like what I did.